15 ways to not progress with your body. This is the title of today's episode of the Kirk Miller Podcast. And it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, I suppose, the title. But the reason I want to share 15 ways to not progress with your body is after all my years of coaching, one thing I've realized is sometimes pain and being more aware of what we shouldn't be doing helps us redirect our focus on what we should actually be doing. Because obviously there's been so many podcast episodes now that I've shared with you all my experiences and expertise of what I know to be true to get business leaders, entrepreneurs, people in high-power positions in fantastic physical, mental shape. So there's lots of things from the previous episodes where I highlight what you should be doing. But this one is going to highlight, with ruthless honesty, as always, what maybe you should be doing a little bit less of. So once I've gone through all of these today, it'd be very interesting for you to evaluate how many of these things maybe you are doing that are slowing down your progress that maybe you want to do a little bit less of or remove altogether, okay? Especially if you are listening to this and, your body isn't where it wants to be, your energy, your confidence, but this is focusing really on you physically, how you want to actually look. Because I'm sure if you listen to this podcast and you follow me in any aspect on social media, you're probably looking for tips, expertise, elements of education that are going to help you, gain another 5 to 10% better with your performance, with your physical goals. Okay, so I'm going to go through them all, and the last one for me is probably the most important. So please hear me out on these 15. If you are not where you want to be, okay, and I'm not saying you're broken. Inside Built to Last, our core coaching program, I don't like working with people who lack motivation, who don't like training. I work with very driven individuals, but we just simply help improve their tactics with their training, their food, their movement, etc. Okay, but no matter how well someone feels they might be doing when they first join us, I can almost guarantee that there would have been 1, 2, 3, maybe more of things that I'm going to go through today that they were doing or not doing rather. Okay, so going to kick off. Number 1, this is probably the most obvious one. If you are trying to guarantee you do not progress with your body, overeat calories, right? If you want to carry lots of body fat, be heavy, be overweight, continue overeating calories, and you'll make a fantastic job of carrying lots of body fat, all right? Number 2, don't lift enough. Don't lift, I work with a lot of people, have worked with a lot of people in my time where they might be in the gym actively, doing lots of cardio, and they just don't simply lift enough, all right? It is scientifically impossible to build a fantastic body if you are not lifting enough, right? You can get your steps in, you can eat the food, but if you're not lifting enough, creating progressive overload, forcing adaptation in the body, taking your body to where it's not been before, you're not going to change, all right? Number 3, ties in with lifting again, don't include compounds. If you have no aspiration to have a strong, lean, muscular physique, don't include compounds. And you'll do a fantastic job again of not having the body that you want, all right? So what do I mean by compounds? What's worked for the last 100 years still works now. So deadlifts, squats, big heavy overhead presses, horizontal presses, single leg joint movements such as lunges. If you don't include these exercises regularly, you are going to make your progress a very slow, painful process. That's where it's not necessarily how long you spend in the gym, it's what you do with the time you spend in the gym that is so important. So if you don't want to progress very quickly, don't include compound moves in your workouts. Stick to machines, stick to isolation exercises, keep training your arms, keep just getting, in abbreviated terms, a sweat on, and you'll really do a fantastic job of not building a good body. All right. And number 4, Don't lift heavy. Don't lift heavy if you do not want a good body. All right? Do not lift heavy if you do not want a good body. Right? Whether it's 6 reps, 10 reps, 15 reps, 20 reps, a lot of people don't change because they don't lift heavy enough. For me, there is no such thing as a lighter weight. Irrelevant of the rep range, the intention of your session should always be to lift heavy. So you are more or less failing on large majority of your sets, especially when it comes to your lifting. But so many people struggle to build the body they want because they don't lift heavy enough. So if you want to slow down your progress again with your body, don't lift heavy. All right? Success leaves clues. I'm yet to come across a fantastic physique that didn't lift heavy. And I think there's a massive craze at the minute with HIIT, CrossFit type workouts. But even if you look at CrossFitters, you know, they lift extremely heavy weights while the ones who do it properly do. A lot of these classes, and I get it, they build community. So there's lots of benefits. You know, I love the Metcon workouts, the conditioning workouts, all this type of thing. But if you don't want to transform your body, don't lift heavy. You know, there's a misconception around like sweat, as I'll come on to one of the other points, that it's all about sweating. Yes, I sweat in the gym, but you know, the number one workout, and I say this to clients, for me, that is the most important, not just from a body comp perspective, but from a joint perspective, because don't forget your bones degenerate as you get older, is lifting heavy. It's the strength work, right? We typically have 3 to 4 workouts for all of our clients inside the Built to Last program. And if anyone was really unsure about what workout to focus on, if they only had one workout to maybe do in a given week, especially if they were pressed for time and all that sort of type of stuff, then I'd say do strength work, because you know you're always going to keep your body strong, your joints strong, and more importantly, your mental focus strong too. All right. Number 5, again, if you don't want to progress with your body, keep going to bed late. Keep going to bed late. You know, really amplify sleep deprivation, poor sleep quality. Yes, sleep is nothing to do with energy in, energy out. But what going to bed late does, obviously, it carries over the next day. You know, visual fatigue, mental fatigue, physical fatigue, and obviously it impacts decisions. So if you're sleep deprived, you're more likely to overeat, you're more likely to overdrink, snack. You're more likely to skip the session or not train with enough intent and do the things that I've said in the previous points, which is lift heavy with big compounds, etc. You'll take the easy route out if you're sleep deprived. So if you don't want to progress with your body, keep going to bed late. Number 6, sit down, don't move. You know, even I've spoken a lot about lifting and food. If you want to really slow down and make your job very, very hard of building a good body, then just keep sitting down. You know, one of the most important metrics when it comes to walking around with a lean, energized body is moving the body. To live with energy, you need to create it in the first place. So make sure you move. You know, walk. Obviously, if you can tap in some cardio apps, that's even better. But you know, if you want to make your job very, very hard and feel like you're in a constant state of harsh calorie deficit whilst trying to get lean, sit down, don't move, okay? Number 7, overdo HIIT and classes. They will do an unbelievable job of losing muscle rapidly, and basically being a skinnier, softer version of yourself if you overdo HIIT. I love doing HIIT from time to time. I love doing, you know, crazy classes at some of my favourite gyms in London, the Manor. But make no mistake about it, if you're trying to build a world-class body, overdoing HIIT isn't the answer. If you ever see a great body within a HIIT class or just any class really, the likelihood is that what's really created that fantastic body is strength work, progressive overload, basically big, heavy movements that's created that body. There is such a misconception of HIIT and classes that because you're sweating, that, you know, that's always complementary to your body. The reality is too much HIIT in particular, you know, in classes where it's just focused purely on sweat and non-stop movement, can actually fuck you up as well. It can create a lot of injuries. It creates a hell of a lot of imbalances because the attention to detail isn't there, especially when there is a large volume of people within a class concept. Especially as we age, if you're late 30s, 40s upwards, chucking yourself around in HIIT classes too frequently across the week will 100% create, more injuries. I've saw it happen so many times. My team have been left to pick up the pieces, an awful lot of this, from people who've overdone Barry's boot camp and all that nonsense. So if you are someone who loves your HIIT in your classes, make sure it's structured effectively. And even the greater classes, which I like to do sometimes at the Manor, they'll include strength work in a lot of theirs as well. All the major movement patterns, your hip hinge, your glute work, but just a lot of generic classes, your body pumps, your Barry's boot camp. You're just basically in a large pool of people, and the goal is to just sweat as much, right? It doesn't create physical stimulus, and really structured training to create a fantastic body. So if you do love doing these things, make sure that you have, strength work around it, progressive overload, with lots of big compounds, as I've touched on, okay? But I remember doing a larger number of HIIT classes than usual when I first moved to London. There was a company who wanted me to potentially, run and take some of their classes, and they said, look, just try them out for a week. And this was a positive but brutal experience. I mean, I enjoyed all the classes; they were great teachers, etc. But I was actually trying to lean down even more for a shoot, okay? And when I say lean down for a shoot, my goal is to drop body fat and keep muscle so I look better and feel better, and the pictures that I was, aiming for were tip-top. I did these HIIT classes back-to-back for about 5-6 days, and it's one of the few times I've actually took my body fat after that by one of my previous mentors who I was working with at the time. I went up to his gym in Nottingham. He took my body fat, and my body weight had dropped, but my body fat had increased. Basically, I dropped weight, but not body fat, which told me I'd lost muscle because I wasn't lifting heavy for that 1 week. And obviously, because I was that lean and my body's that responsive, and I've been in shape for all this time, I know my body inside out. So it was just fascinating to know that the one variable I changed that week was more HIIT classes, more sweat type classes, as opposed to lifting heavy like I normally do with tension and volume, etc. And I'd lost weight, but it was muscle, not fat, which is, the complete opposite of what you're trying to do, of course, if you're trying to build a great body. So if you're someone who is, a lover of HIIT classes, by all means, you've got to do what you enjoy. But in terms of meeting your expectation of looking a certain way with your body, building a strong, lean physique, then maybe look at the amount of HIIT and classes you're doing and replace some of them with actually structured, effective weights workouts, because otherwise it's going to be a slow, painful process of trying to build that lean, strong physique. Number 8, don't drink water, or don't drink enough water. Keep doing that if this is you. I find a lot of business owners pummel themselves with coffee, and this maybe ties in with sleep deprivation, really. If you're sleep deprived, a lot of the time you rely on coffee and stimulants, and it has an adverse effect. I can see it in someone's face, when they're sleep deprived and they're pulling themselves with coffee. But water, don't forget as well. I mean, there are so many other benefits from drinking plenty of water, but if you're not drinking enough water, not only will it hinder your performance, your cells need to be full when you're in training sessions, for example, to optimize how much you're lifting, because ultimately how much you lift and what you lift is going to dictate how you look. But if you're not drinking enough water, then you're not going to optimize performance, okay, mental focus, concentration, okay. And if you're not drinking enough water, how that also affects the body is you are more likely to overeat if you are dehydrated. If your body isn't hydrated, you are more likely to overeat calories, and probably more types of the wrong calories, okay, which obviously affect fat loss and body comp. Number 9, drink alcohol every week. If you love slowing down your progress, right? I've been no angel with alcohol over the years and still like a drink from time to time. But if you're doing it every single week, especially to excess, and obviously, I've done an episode on alcohol and everyone has a different perception of what their, what is a lot of alcohol and what is not a lot of alcohol. But if you're drinking alcohol every single week and you are looking to take your body to another level, are you doing it out of purely habit? And where do you think you'd be if you drank a little bit less than maybe what you're currently doing? Okay, but we factor in drinking out, eating out. All of our clients, who do that in some capacity, but the grade A clients, the people who really, really progress and are really optimizing energy and really ticking all the boxes in life, professionally, personally, physically, mentally, they don't drink every week. Pick your battles, pick your moments, make sure it's worth it when you're drinking, all right? But if you want to slow down your progress with your body goals, drink alcohol every single week. Number 10, simply don't schedule looking after you. This for me is one of the problems of people, especially business owners, entrepreneurs, who are not where they want to be. And again, when I say not where you want to be, you might be in good shape, but if you have a higher expectation of how you believe you should look and the body you believe you should have that would make you feel happy, because ultimately, if we want a better body, it's because we think it's going to make us feel a certain way, okay? But you have to schedule looking after you. But if you don't want to optimize your progress with your body, just don't schedule looking after it. Don't schedule the things you need to do to create the body, all right? Don't schedule your movement, your cardio. Don't schedule your training sessions. Don't schedule what you're going to eat, certainly. Definitely don't schedule what you're going to eat at the weekend if you really, really want to slow down your body goals. Basically, not scheduling looking after you is going to create more reactive decisions, and ultimately your body is a byproduct of your decisions. So if you want to really slow down your progress with your body goals, don't schedule looking after you. Keep scheduling your work, other people, socials, and again, you'll do a phenomenal job of not building a great body. Number 11, if you don't want a strong, powerful body, keep hanging around with unhealthy people. Keep communicating with people who don't value health. Keep spending time with people who don't have a good body and aren't energized and uplifting and don't have healthy habits, because they're going to continue to rub off on you if your goal is to not progress with your body, okay? This for me, I've spoke about this on so many of the podcasts, is monstrous, is absolutely monstrous. As I say to my clients, if you don't have people around you, whether it's your friends, your colleagues, anybody who you spend a large majority of your time and attention with, who value health or are stronger, fitter, healthier, right, to make you level up, you will conform to the standards, the behavior, and the value on health of these people, okay? All right, so keep hanging around with unhealthy people, but on the flip side, if you want to be healthier, stronger, fitter, do the opposite, okay? Number 12, don't celebrate progress. So this is more of a mindset perspective thing. If you really want to slow down your progress, and I think this is more to do with consistency with your body, don't celebrate progress. Because if you don't celebrate progress, you're not going to have pleasure attached to the actions and behavior, or make it a lifestyle of actually having a great body. Everything you do will be pain-led. And I know from my vast experience in this area that if you don't celebrate progress in pursuit of building and maintaining a great body, then it's just a matter of time before standards slip and you probably look to do other things to fulfill your needs and give you pleasure in the form of food, booze, or both, or it could be anything, But yeah, don't celebrate progress if you don't want to attach pleasure to your journey, 13, if you don't want to progress with your body, get complacent. Keep thinking you've made it. All right, this is where we differ inside Built to Last, right? So it goes without saying, our clients make unbelievable progress in the first 30 to 90 days. We've had clients who've dropped up to 10 to 14 pounds within their first 30 days. and then anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds, in extreme cases, in the first 90 days, or someone who's maybe came to us in really good shape and within anywhere from 30 to 90 days, they've got abs popping, etc. All right, but as I say to them, you can't get complacent. You can't get complacent, right? Building a body is one thing, maintaining it is another, right? But it has to be lasting change, and this is a whole built to last philosophy, right? If you are someone that wants to continually yo-yo or be in peak shape and then fall backwards, be in peak shape, fall backwards, then keep being complacent, keep thinking you've made it, right? Unfortunately, and this is where a lot of online coaches and so-called influencers talk absolute shit that I see on social media. You're never going to be the finished ticket after 30 to 90 days, even 6 months, in my opinion, right? And if that was true, then you would probably be someone listening to this in optimal shape year round, year to year. And I think given the choice, and this is obviously the caliber of people we work with, given the choice, people want to be in great shape consistently year round if they knew they could sustain it, right? But in order to sustain that, yes, you need to eat the food, get the sessions in, get your body moving, but you can't get complacent, right? The hard work really starts when you keep it. If you are, maybe currently on a fitness journey or looking to take your fitness journey to another level, right? All you prove when you are at that initial first few months stages where you're dropping that body fat is you've maintained a calorie deficit and you've been consistent with your training. But so few can actually keep it, all right? So if you want to make your progress very, very hard with your body goals, or not maintain the shape with your body goals if you ever do hit your goals, keep thinking you've made it and get complacent. That is a fantastic way to fall backwards. Number 14, maybe comes off this also, is don't reset goals. Don't reset goals if you don't want to walk around with a great body, all right? Don't reset goals. If you have nowhere to go, no target to hit, then you're going to drift off into no man's land. It's a matter of time before you coast and go backwards. So if you do not want to progress with your body or to build a great body, don't reset goals. Number 15, I say this is the most important for me, and I have to give a little bonus, or a lie. There is actually 16, right? But there's a bonus, and maybe these sort of to do with food, right? Ultimately, the biggest challenge we have with anyone who's ever joined Built to Last, or from my time in coaching, of why someone doesn't look the way they want to, 99% of the time it's down to food, right? And two things that work together. If you want to slow down your progress with your body, right, and slow down your fat loss and not look the way you want to, eat lots of processed food and lots of added sugar, right? These two things, right, either working together, or maybe you're doing more of one or the other, so you might be eating more processed food, more added sugar. These two things, from my experience, are the single thing that will guarantee you don't look the way you want to and don't have the energy you want to. So if you want to have more body fat that you want, less energy, and have aspirations to have, an average, mediocre body, eat lots of processed food, lots of added sugar, and I suppose what does lots mean? Lots of processed food and added sugar for me is, if you were to look at your food as, you got 100% total of your food, if you were to put all your food on a table right now, okay, and that equates to 100%, of course. If I would say 30-40% of that is processed and added sugar food, there is no way you're going to build a great body anytime fast. Contrary to the bullshit and some of this, if it fits your macros bollocks, it's absolute horse shit, right? And I would go as far as saying, if you are in good shape right now, like a lot of our guys who come to us, not broken, but you're just looking for that extra edge, I would say if more than 10% of your food is processed and added sugar across the week. And when we're evaluating added sugar, it's also your alcohol, because a lot of alcohol generally has sugar too, okay? And it's certainly processed, of course, but if more than 10% of your weekly calorie consumption is coming from processed or added sugar food, you will never build a phenomenal body, in my opinion. You know, they're the biggest hindrance and most hyperpalatable foods that slow down how people want to look, or if they're not quite where they want to be, all right? It's the biggest consumption of calories. Generally speaking, you know, when you overeat, you're not going to overeat on lean proteins or overeat on vegetables or clean carbs or, you know, healthy fats. I mean, I would say in all the years I've been coaching, 95% of the time, if someone has hit a plateau with their fat loss, with their body comp goals, it's because of too much processed food and too much added sugar that they need to eat slightly less of. It's as simple as that, okay? But yeah, keep eating lots of processed food and added sugar if you really want to slow down your progress. That for me is probably the number one thing, okay? And then the bonus: don't eat protein, or eat minimal protein. This isn't spoken about enough for me, but you can't physically build a great body if you're not eating enough protein. It's impossible. The most important macronutrient is protein if you want to have a strong, lean, muscular body. So if you don't want a strong, lean, muscular body, right, and you want to curb to cravings, snacks, maybe if you've got a sweet tooth, what so many people label themselves with, which is purely habitual and has been conditioned, in my opinion, then keep eating a low amount of protein. And a low amount of protein for me is significantly less than 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. If you are nowhere near that, then it's highly likely you don't have a muscular, strong physique, and you probably overconsume carbs and added sugar and processed food, especially when you're hungry, right? And that's it, my friends. I've got some questions, of course, just to help you self-evaluate. Obviously, I know there's a bit of tongue-in-cheek today where I'm obviously saying 15 ways to not progress with your body. But from these 15, first question is, how many of the 15 do you actually do? So of the things that I'm saying will slow down your progress, how many of those 15 do you actually do? If you're being really, really honest with yourself. How many of the 15 are you doing on a regular basis? So if you were to look at your last week, 2 weeks, or maybe even the last year of your personal management with your health and fitness, how many of them are you doing? And number 2, do you think you'll build the body, the confidence, the energy you want to live with if you keep doing them? So to have the body, have the confidence, have the energy that you want, if you keep doing however many of those things that I've just been through, it could be 1, could be 2, could be 3, could be 4, could be 5. I mean, if you're anywhere from 3 to 5 upwards, and you don't have the body you want, your answer lies in probably what I've been through today, okay? And nothing's going to change anytime quick until we do something about it, all right? But where do you think you'd be if you keep doing them? Where do you think your body would be? Where do you think your energy would be? Where do you think your confidence would be if you keep doing those things that maybe I've sort of said probably aren't doing you any favors, okay? And number 3 is, what is the number 1 of those 15 that is holding you back most from having and living with the body that you want to live with? What is the one that is holding you back most? And what are you willing to do about it? Because it's okay evaluating, right? This is the one holding me back right now. But if you're not going to do nothing about it, nothing's ever going to change. Okay, I know that's very straight talking, but if you've listened to any of my podcasts, then I'm here to tell the truth. I'm not here to sugarcoat things and bullshit you. But if we know there is one that is holding us back right now, what are you actually willing to do about it? And again, as I've said many times before, you don't have to be broken. But if you're looking for that extra 5 to 10% from how you look, how you feel, how you perform, your energy, even if you're not that bothered about having a world-class body, I'm sure you value energy if you're a high performer or you're trying to squeeze as much out your week. What is the one holding you back and what are you willing to do about it? because the quote I've ended with today is one of my favorite Tony Robbins quotes, right? It's one of my favorite Tony Robbins quotes. Get my words out. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. If nothing changes, right? So I know this is a little bit different with today's episode, but the harsh reality is, and this is why bad news sells sometimes, you know, why we're so hooked on, you know, things that are not negative, but, you know, pain-led, they capture the attention sometimes. I just wanted to highlight these 15 things, right, are the things that are probably holding you back from where you want to be, even if it's that extra 5%, that 10%, right? But just be really, really honest with yourself from that list, right? If you are not progressing at the speed you want or in the direction you want, right, of that body you desire, right, for your confidence, for your status, maybe for a deeper reason, for your relationships, whatever it is, whatever the real reason is you want a great body, evaluate those 15 and how many are you doing, right? Because the more you do of those 15, or the more, perhaps, even if you've got one that, you might only have one that you're doing, but you're doing it to excess and you're doing it too frequently. For example, it might be, you know, the one thing that's holding you back is maybe drink. Even if it's only one, but if you're doing that to excess, and you know that is the one thing holding you back, how can you do it a little bit less? But just go through that list with 100% transparency, okay? Because I don't know many things, but I know what it takes to build a world-class body, as you may have saw from our testimonials and our transformations, okay? And I've been in shape for all these years now, and I want to help you do the same and tell you the truth, okay? And I know this to be true. So thank you so much, as always, for listening. I'll see you next time.